The food people choose to put into their bodies has the power to hurt or heal, despite all the efforts to educate consumers on the importance of making healthy food choices. Studies have shown that 80% of consumers are confused about food health information, with 59% of them doubting their choices. Who you seek food health advice from is as equally important as what you eat every day. The BeFUSED podcast is a fusion of two ideologies: the culinary arts with medical science centered on helping individuals make more informed decisions about the foods they should eat daily. Our hope through listening to this podcast series is that we will help individuals make more informed decisions that will positively impact their overall health.
Welcome to the BeFUSED podcast. My name is Don Davis, and I'm the host of the podcast. And in this episode of BeFUSED, Dr. Anthony Marotta and I are interviewing Kay Woodland. Kay is the founder and president of LifeStyle for Life company, and they're creating foods that are good for you and awaken your passion for food. So with that, why don't I bring in Dr. Marotta, and thanks for being here.
Hi, Don. Great to be back again. And looking forward to today's episode, again with Kay. Essentially, it's been such a great experience working with her. I love everything that she's doing and her passion for obviously bringing forth healthier propositions for consumers, but then also too with that, her initiative on coaching people basically on lifestyle changes as well.
Yeah, I'm really interested in getting into that because we haven't really covered that topic yet in any of these podcast episodes, and I think that one of the things that a lot of people sort of need is just that conversation occasionally with people. So with that, why don't we bring in Kay, and welcome to the podcast, Kay.
Hello.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. So can you just tell the listeners just a little bit about yourself?
So I didn't start out in food, by the way. I was listening to the podcast, to some previous ones, and Myrna was in
Myrna Selzler, with Babs.
Right?
Yeah.
She's in real estate.
Yeah.
Well, my background is in electronics engineering. So did not start out there, but my family, my mother, we're all into health. My mom was a public health nurse. My dad was a nurse, and they wanted me to go into medicine, but I don't like sick people. so that was not a good choice for me. So I went into engineering. But along the way, I found out that I sort of merged into consumer packaged goods, doing market research and getting into food, working with Nestle, with their whole lean cuisine line, that kind of thing. And I moved out here and I worked with a retailer called, at the time they were called the Overweighty Food Group. They're now Save On Foods, as a first a category manager, and then as a product developer for their private brands. So that really got me into understanding how products are actually designed, brought to market, how you choose ingredients. And the one thing that stuck out in my mind was the lack of choice when it came to food. Anything you designed, it had to be for the masses. And I always thought, well, if the masses had a choice, I'm pretty sure they would probably choose something healthy if it tasted good, right? So I did do a few things with that group, but ultimately, corporate Canada or corporate America is the same. It's all about the money, right? You want to make things cheaper, you want to make things faster, you want to make things not necessarily better. And so, you have people going into the grocery store and finding only that, right? There was no healthy choice in my mind. Segue, about 17 years ago, I did a bunch of courses with this hospital in Florida and continuing education, and that's how I got into the coaching part of it. I I did a lot of community outreach. So within the British Columbia, the city that I live in, and other cities, we did a lot of community outreach with young people, um, older people, and the in between, trying to get them to challenge people to make better choices,
Mm.
right? Understand how food affects them, how their lifestyle affects them, and how food and lifestyle actually affects mental health. So, it was something I really, really enjoyed, and that's when I created the brand Lifestyle for Life. Um, and it was solely created to be an outreach vehicle. Um, Still went down the path of having a real job and being working in food. And uh, about, I'd say about 5 years ago, I had a client that was lactose intolerant, and I made for her, I was trying to teach her how to change her diet a little bit. Choose real food, choose vegetables, don't process them so much, don't wrap them in all kinds of things, and just introducing her again to vegetables. And she was enjoying that, but French Canadian, she loved her cream, but she every time she ate it, she was just so sick.
Oh,
So
wow.
I made the sauce for her. I made a version of bechamel for her, and she absolutely loved it. She didn't miss the cream, she didn't miss the butter, and she told all her friends, and I ended up making this for her and for her friends. Um,
And even without the cream, then they all
they
enjoyed
still
it.
liked it. They
Yeah.
they all enjoyed it. They could not believe that it didn't have butter in it. So cut to the chase. About 2019 was when I decided to, leave the corporate world, and branch out and actually make this product, commercialize this product, because that's my background. I'm My background is in product development. My background is in commercialization. Did it for Post Holdings. So, why not this? So I have a partner, and we got together. She's a food scientist. I dabble, and we sort of came together, and we came up with the first three items that we had, which was the original, or just the mother sauce, we call it, which is basically a sauce that you can use for anything. You can use it to make a hollandaise sauce, you can use it to make an alfredo sauce, you can use it to thicken things, whatever. And then we made variants of that using other ingredients that we thought were interesting and good for you. So we made the black garlic white truffle sauce that was added to that base, and then there's a spicy sun-dried tomato which is also added to the base. And again, all of these things are made dairy-free, low in sodium, and all with real food. So minimally processed foods, and using as clean as possible ingredients as we can find. The one thing with my old job that I have had access to a lot of ingredients, and I have made the conscious decision to actually go with as clean as possible. Anthony and I have had some,
Good
discussions about
good
some things.
discussions
I've
about that.
tweaked some
Yeah.
things. Oh yeah, I've tweaked some things.
Yeah.
Not so much on the sauce, but on the spreads, we've changed a few things. Um, and It's been a really good collaboration with Project Healthy Human, because I find that the two work together very well.
So I'm dying to ask this question, Dr. Marotta. So have you tried some of the garlic sauce and things like that on the in any of the Italian dishes that I know you enjoy?
We actually have we've had them at home, and I think the truffle and garlic, if I remember correctly. We made that at home with a pasta dish, and we quite liked it. And as Kay said too, again, I kind of see it as a replacement, obviously, for us, more of a traditional, kind of white sauce or Alfredo sauce. Quite enjoyed it. For me, the only thing, again, and Kay and I've had this discussion. My feedback was, I want some more of the black truffle flavor coming through, because I'm a big fan of truffles, right? But
Yeah.
again, for most of the, for most people, they don't like, obviously, the robust or the unique flavor of it. So we actually have a little shaker of truffle that we got from Italy, right?
Mhm.
So I just, it's like kind of Parmesan cheese, but it's very clean. It's just pure like black truffle pulverized, and you kind of
Right.
shake it on. So, for us, it was like great. And then, again, Kay's spreads, they're basically very good. So the herb and garlic uh, cream cheese spread, that's not a cream cheese. It's obviously more of a cashew based vegan, cream cheese that's very clean. We love that as well. And actually, one thing that we've done is we've actually paired basically that sauce, or that spread, pardon me, with Babs's breakfast sausage, and we're looking to launch basically one of these fresh food propositions as well, using the two brands products, together as well, to put something that's more flex forward, basically for the flexitarian, market as well. So yeah, and again, I love, obviously, the passion for this food is medicine. And I think you see too, like, again, an emerging theme amongst the different brands that we're, speaking to. They're all very passionate about, obviously, changing things in the food ecosystem. So for us, it just creates a really nice synergy, to work with, people like Kay as well. So really happy
Mhm.
about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, to see, I mean, the story of, a definite need, and then, walking towards, helping somebody as well. I mean, the story, Kay, of your sort of initial mother sauce, really sounds like an interesting one as well. And, definitely sounds like something that could be nicely combined, with a lot of different foods, especially, if you have any sort of, issue already, but also you just in general. I mean, if you just want to sort of live healthier in general, it sounds like a smart choice.
Well, the reason I made this one and I launched this, I looked on the market, and I mean, in the US, there's a lot of brands. Here, there is really one brand that's similar to this, but I love salt. I will not lie. I love salt, and I can't eat this product. It is so salty.
Hmm.
That's the thing, right? Most of these products that you get that are prepared, they have weird ingredients to begin with, and then they have just so much salt, you know, and I don't know if it's because they're masking something or what, but I find, I've always found this, if you keep things true to nature,
Hmm.
nature takes over and makes it good. So that's what I've done. I've, real onions, real garlic. Like, for the black garlic, we've got fermented garlic, which is basically just garlic that's been aged. That's it. And um, the truffle, I use white truffle because Anthony likes the strong truffle taste. So do I. Some people don't. So the white truffle is a little bit more forgiving. It's earthy, but not as earthy. So we've sort of decided to go with the white truffle, and it's just truffles and extra virgin olive oil. That's it, right? So as close to nature as we can get it, that's how we want it. And it always works best, and people have accepted it for what it
You know,
is.
and again, sorry, Kate, to interject, just even again on the whole premise of gut health and, again, dairy free, oftentimes, again, and this is the feedback from one of the GI specialists, but, typically, if you're looking at any underlying inflammation, at the level of the gut, because we're the enzymes sit that process dairy. They're at the top of the crypts in the gut. So oftentimes you'll see where patients have an underlying sensitivity to, let's say, gluten or something, where there's obviously more of a inflammatory aspect to it. You'll see effectively dairy as a comorbidity, where dairy sensitivities crop up, because it's just based upon obviously the morphology of the gut and where the enzymes sit. So again, these solutions, these functional food solutions that have been created by, Kay and her team, really also meet an unmet need, clinically, and again too, minimizing, the extent to which there's, let's say, additives or process factors. Just again complements that whole ethos of trying to bring food propositions that support people's well-being.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so
Right.
I wanted to kind of come back to you and your partner and the way that you work together in terms of collaborating to create new things as well. So, I mean, how does that relationship work, and how do you sort of, maybe bring in people that kind of guide your next decisions in terms of the next things that you get ready to create?
So I have this dream of creating food all the time. So I have a list of things that I want to do, and I have to, she's my voice of reason. I want to do this much, and she will say, you only have this much money. so, so let's start with just one or two. So I have a list of things that I want to do, and it's all about having people enjoy food,
Mm,
right?
yeah,
Just because you have an intolerance or you have a medical issue, you should be able to find a solution that still enables you to enjoy food, because it's a huge part of our lives, right? So, um, the sauces, yes, I have those. I've got the spreads. I'm going to do some salad dressings, but things with purpose. Not just, a lot of people want to become vegetarian or vegan. I don't like the diet thing really, but hey, if you want to, I can probably steer in a direction or not. But if you're eating, my mother always said to me, if you're when you're eating something, make sure it's in balance,
mm,
right? Your food should be in balance. Your body will be in balance if you adhere to this. So, all the things that I want to create, I want to ensure that not they don't only taste good, but they have a purpose. The spreads are about giving you that creamy mouthfeel, but also dealing with your gut health. The
yeah,
salad dressings that I want to do, it's about giving you that thing to help you digest the greens that you might be eating, but well, and also provide a little bit more protein to you if you're just going to eat salad, right? So give you a little bit of something more. And I think, from talking to Anthony, we'll probably put some prebiotic cultures in there as well to sort of help with the digestion of everything. We've got a sausage in on the market. I'm trying not to do it because it's very labor intensive, but people won't stop buying it.
so they really like that, huh?
They won't stop buying it. It's a gluten-free um, sausage as well. It's gluten-free and soy-free, which I don't have anything against soy. I also don't have anything against meat. I don't eat meat as a rule, but I don't have anything. I don't. I support people that do, but I still suggest that they have options.
Yeah.
So everything we
Yeah.
do, that's what the options.
And one of the things too, again, when we look at, and Kay, maybe you can even kind of talk, obviously, about how you actually process, the cashews, because one of the
Mhm.
things too, like I see this all the time happening, right? Where, people basically try to migrate towards more of a dairy-free solution, and then they
Mhm.
end up going and basically buying these, and I refer to them as solutions, right? Essentially like oat milk, or cashew milk or almond milk. When you start dissecting the ingredients, it's like, okay, there's more additives and chemicals in there than actually the actual kind of pure forms. And I've
Right.
seen some, products that are very clean, but Kay, you can maybe speak to that in terms of like even some of these dairy-free propositions that exist and how they're formulated.
Absolutely. So, um, especially the like almond milk, it's about the stabilization, and there's you have to add certain things to make it look appealing, give it the shelf life that you might want. You know, they some of them will tend to separate, and it's also about how expensive it might be if you decide to go down the natural route. It's not always the cheapest route, right? I don't think one should scrimp when it comes to your health, but that's just me. Um, so for me, when I do the sauce, I know where the cashews are coming from. Number one, that's a big thing. You need to ensure that your source is sound, right? So this where I purchased my cashews from, I've actually visited the facilities from farm to processing. So I've actually gone that route, and I've seen how that happens. So I am comfortable with the raw material that I'm getting in. The raw material that I get in, I do not do anything to it before it goes into the kettle. So it's raw, it gets cooked, then it gets jarred, and that's it.
So
Wow.
the
I
cashews, basically, like when you talk about that, like, you're pretty much making your own cashew, like,
right,
solution or liquid as
right.
your base.
So a lot of vegans will make this sauce, right? They will put the cashews in their food processor, and then they will add in a host of other things, right? Um, the first time I saw somebody do this, they added in like a whole ton of uh, a seasoning salt, some kind of a chicken type base seasoning salt, and it had a whole bunch of fillers in it. I think it even had MSG in it, and MSG and me don't work. We really don't like each other very much. I have severe headaches when I headaches and toothaches when I have anything with MSG.
Yeah, they trigger
So
migraines in me. Anthony and I've
yep,
had this conversation
yep,
before.
it
It triggers a
does.
migraine for me. So
If
yeah.
if I'm like
Yeah.
your canary in the coal mine. If you give me something and MSG is in it, first my teeth will go,
Mm,
and then my head will go.
wow.
I just know it. So they're trying to make it taste a certain way, but the thing about when you keep things closer to natural, the natural flavors come through. So you've got cashews are naturally sweet. If you don't add too much to it, and you add something naturally sweet like onions, that's also naturally sweet. So is garlic. It's an enhancer. It will enhance. Plus, natural herbs, different herbs enhance different things. Add those together, you get something really good without adding other stuff to it.
Amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that keeps becoming a theme more or less, here throughout a lot of the conversations that we've had that, if you just, we've tried so much to sort of minimize aging or maximize, one flavor or another. And by doing that, we just add all this stuff that more or less just takes away from the natural flavor, as well, but also, hurts us and, from an overall digestive and gut health standpoint too.
I remember when
Yeah.
we were talking about the almond milk. Now, when I first started to do this, I just did almonds and water, but that was labor intensive and also expensive. So I reformulated using a almond milk that I found that I didn't really like, but mostly because I wasn't using too much of it. I was okay with using this particular brand. So what we talked about was the additives to the milk. right? So there's always these weird additives, right? And you wonder why they're there until you find out why they're there,
Hmm.
right? And as I said, as I told Anthony, I am at some point we will reformulate to remove that completely and just go back to the almonds and water.
Yeah. Wow. So, let's run through your products just one more time for anybody that you know, kind of joined the conversation later, or maybe missed it. Maybe we just walk through each one of the items that you currently offer at
Oh,
Lifestyle
okay.
for Life.
So we currently offer the mother sauce, which is we call the original. We've got a black garlic and white truffle sauce. We also have the spicy sun-dried tomato, and we just recently launched a bolognese, which is made with pea protein, textured pea protein. Um, Difference with all of these are designed to be low in sodium. They have no added sugar, so all the sweetness comes from the food. So it comes from either in the case of the spicy sun-dried tomato, it does have this heat, but it also has a sweetness to it, and it comes from um, figs and peppers, sweet red bell peppers. So it's that sweetness comes directly from the food, right? The sodium, we add no salt, but we do use some soy sauce. But again, fermented brewed soy sauce, specific ones, and um, just enough to add a little bit of flavor, but not making it overly salty. If people purchase these things, they want more salt, they can always add it. Don't think you need it, but you can always add it. We also have three spreads. There's a urban garlic, which Anthony was talking about. We also have a cranberry apple, which is going really well right now. I guess it's the season. It's made with real cranberries and real apple juice. So it's apple juice from the Okanagan. Nothing added, just apple juice, and again, no added sugar, right? And all the creaminess comes from the cashews, and the sweetness comes from the apples and with just a little bit of tartness from the cranberries, and it does have real bits of cranberry. And we also have one that is a white and black pepper, which is basically a spicy spread.
And there's one last thing that you want to remove from your menu, which is the vegan sausage.
The plant-wurst is yep, it's gluten-free, soy-free um, sausage. It's meant to be eaten like on a charcuterie board. It's just you just slice and eat. It's actually quite good. It's real Jamaican jerk flavor, and people seem to like it. But
I haven't
it's
tried that yet, so
I know.
we're gonna have to like basically try that because I do like Jamaican jerk. So
Okay.
that's actually a very unique flavor. So next time I see you,
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you have somebody else hooked on it that you got to keep the
yes,
product around for. So, I mean, we should probably talk about your services, as well. So, I mean, you kind of started with this, in terms of the journey that you took, right? So in terms of, overall, wellness coaching. I mean, can you just talk a little bit about the types of services that you offer as well?
So right now, it's basically one-on-one coaching. People, if you want to make a change, we did at some point offer a lot of other things, like seminars, etc., cooking classes, all of that. But I sort of paused that for a little bit to sort of get the products out there, and really, it's just the one-on-one coaching. So people come to me and they'll ask, "Okay, I want to do this, or I want to do this," and you kind of need to work within the framework of what will work for a person. You know, what do you like? What do you like to do? You know, what do you like to eat? What do you like, what does their day look like? You need to, all the changes that people need to make, they need to be able to work with those changes, or else change will never happen, right?
Right.
And you can't, I steer people away from deprivation, which means, most diets say don't eat this, don't eat that, don't eat the other, this, that. Your body will tell you what you should and should not eat. If you're eating dairy and it makes you sick, maybe you shouldn't eat it. If you're eating too much salt and your legs swell up and you start, feeling weird, maybe you should cut back on the salt. Your body will tell you. And that's kind of our focus when we speak to a client, or when we work with someone. We try to work within the framework of what will work for them.
Okay. And then in terms of where people can find your products, where are the main, places that they should go to try and find your products?
Right now we're just in British Columbia. I haven't created anything for the US at this point. I probably will at some point, but not right now. So, and it's just available in British Columbia. There are a few retail stores. Nature's Fair store is one that springs to mind, because they're a chain throughout the Okanagan and the Lower Mainland as well, and a few other health food related stores also carry the product.
Now, whenever they go to find it, it's not under the name Lifestyle for Life, right? There's
No,
another name that it goes
right.
by.
So the brand is Cachamel, is the sauces, and creme Cachamel is the spreads, and the sausage is called Plantwurst.
I see Anthony's smiling. For anybody that can't see his smile because you're listening, but yeah.
So one other thing too, Kate. So I believe you can also order online, correct?
You can, yes, you can.
Oh, so you could ship anywhere,
You
though. I
could.
mean, if
I don't. I tried to steer people away from that, because the products are meant to be refrigerated, and
okay.
we ship them refrigerated. So yes, we do. We have had clients from Ontario that have ordered products, and we will ship it, but it's a challenge sometimes. So
Yeah,
and
the other aspect too, just kind of thinking out loud, like even if you were to get, for example, someone from the US order, you could ship likely, but probably the logistics fees or the shipping fees, because you're
I
having to ship like with gel
no,
packs.
no, I couldn't ship to the US. No, because my labels are not compliant with the US. So they're made in Canada, and yeah, I could not ship it to the US. The regulations don't allow it. I'd have to have labels that are compliant with the US regulations.
Interesting. Well, thank you for correcting us, because I mean, of course, top of my mind always is like, how do I get online right after we finish one of these episodes and go order some, because you guys all sit here and entice me during the night. Here's a few things that you should try. And I mean, I'm a firm believer as well that food can be used not just in terms of nourishing your body and things like that, but it
Mhm.
also is a great way to build community. So, to me, that's one of the other, great things about food is that it draws us all together. And in the U.S., we just had this big holiday, Thanksgiving, and that's kind of,
Yes.
what that holiday is all about as well. How do you bring, more people together to sort of celebrate the harvest in the year as well. So, yeah.
We have to do our Thanksgiving a little earlier here in Canada because of the cold. So generally, our harvest is a little earlier than your harvest. So
Yeah. That's true. That's true. And I
Yes.
mean, I never thought about it that way. I was kind of thinking that if you lined up both of the holidays, there would be a true turkey shortage every year.
probably that too maybe. So then we have to eat plant wurst.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, Kay, I wanted to come back to you with one more question. So, in terms of the certification process, what was that like for you in terms of working with Dr. Marotta and the team with Project Healthy Human?
I really enjoyed the collaboration. He challenged me, especially on the spreads. He gave me quite a bit of challenge, and I challenged him back. And he answered a lot of questions. This is the one thing that I think I was missing out of the whole process. Um, my partner looks at things from a, how would you say it, from a technical point of view. Anthony looks at things both technically and emotionally, which is where I live. So, when I say to him, this is what I want, he can actually offer solutions, which is a great collaboration. He will offer solutions that work within my framework. So I really enjoyed the collaboration, and I'm still looking forward to seeing my score at some point.
Very good.
Absolutely.
And then, Dr. Marotta, what was it like for you to work with I guess you could say the Lifestyle for Life team, but also, just in general, looking at the Cachamel products?
Yeah, I mean, it's been great working with Kay. We've sat at Whole Foods many times, having coffee and just having great conversation, looking at ingredients together, basically providing that collaborative back and forth. Why Kay's made certain choices, and again too, also providing alternate solutions for her, and trying to drive again towards the perfect product. And again, one thing that people need to understand, there's never ever a perfect product, right? And that's something that consumers need to understand. So on our end, it's like we want to drive towards perfection, and it's iterative. It takes time to get there, because it's not and this is one of the things too that people don't understand. Like, even though you aspire to produce the the best or the healthiest product, there's always going to be certain challenges or impediments within that journey. And so on our end, it does have to be almost phase gated or stage gated, where you try to drive it, because it requires research really and reformulation activities to effectively do that. And you just can't stop and change your whole formulation, because again, then you have to go through the entire retesting of everything, shelf life, basically, consistency, trialing, how does the consumer actually perceive it? So it's not, it's not like going in the kitchen and basically voila, a chef comes in and makes stuff. It's a lot of trial and error, and it requires like iteration. So I think in that regard, kind of aligning with what Kay is saying, we have to stage gate this stuff. So that's, really important. And then, again, too, as it relates to her products, again, looking at other products and comparing her, within her, let's say, channel of products. Again, it's just they're well formulated, and they're a lot cleaner than, arguably a lot of the other products that are out there. And again, it's such a pleasure to work with her. And, like I said, I really do like the truffle. I need a little bit more bam of truffle. Like, I'm waving my Italian hands now, but that's for me to add after. And again, I like a little bit of Parmesan too. So, don't penalize me for that. And then the herb and garlic, spread. Like, I really, really like when we paired that again with Babs's breakfast sausage, and we had it. And it was just, honestly, it was just on a brioche bun with the the cream cheese, or the spread, the Cachamel spread, and the Babs breakfast sausage. It was like, and we just heated it up slightly. It was like it popped in your mouth, right? And it was simple, yet you tasted the flavors really complemented one another, and it was like a eureka moment.
And I notice your mouth is
So
watering too. So, I mean, anybody
Yeah.
that can't see that, as he's describing it, it's like, he's retasting this sandwich.
I am.
So.
I am.
So Anthony, my husband, he can't do dairy.
Yeah.
really lactose intolerant. So what he did over Thanksgiving was leftover turkey, the cranberry apple. So he always puts cranberry sauce on his turkey sandwich. All he did
Yeah.
was the cranberry apple spread and the turkey and
Mm.
lettuce. And that was it. And he said it was really outstanding.
Well, we're gonna have to tell Brad to make me a sandwich then, so I can try it.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Kay, I wanted to just open it up to you. Is there anything that you'd like to share here at the end?
I never thought I'd go down this road. Um, I but it's been rewarding, especially when I see people enjoy the product and I see it make a difference. It's rewarding. It's a lot of work, but it's still rewarding, and I'm really looking forward to adding more products to my lineup, and working with Anthony and his group to see what we can really bring to the market, and getting my clients on board with all of this, the changes that we're trying to make.
Yeah, it's interesting to me because I've had a lot of conversations with people that have sort of, made decisions along their way that they wind up in just the right career for them. And it's one of those things where I don't feel like you choose a career. I almost feel like the choices in life that you make almost, choose the career for you. Right. So it's kind of a weird way to think about the fact of, sort of planning out your life and things like that. But at the same time, oftentimes people wind up in these, things that this is just the right fit for them, and they're doing just the right thing to contribute to the world. So thank you for the work that you're doing as well.
Okay.
And then
you.
Anthony, anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, as you were talking, I was thinking, it really, again, takes that community or the village, so to speak, to affect
Mhm.
change. And what you're seeing as an emerging theme is that these brands that we're working with, and the entrepreneurs, that they're very passionate about bringing forth, propositions that support people's well-being, and really, affecting change in a positive way. Again, we could all effectively maybe migrate towards the traditional scope where you look at trying to maximize profitability and cut corners. But again, I think there's a particular thought process from the entrepreneurs and the brands that they don't want to cut corners. They want to bring about change. And I think, again, too, people ask me, well, why is this so important? If I look at the last 25 years of data and publications around there, and everyone kind of preaching less salt, less sugar, less this, less that, again, we need to be a little bit more aggressive with change. And what was in terms of allowed ingredients is going to likely change, because on the clinical side or the scientific side, as you know, we've become we've advanced our understanding and our technology where we can actually start to interrogate the bacteria, for example, in our gut, and assess, for example, what these things are actually doing. We never had that capability, let's say even 10 years ago, and the understanding, and we still don't understand the biome to the extent that we need to. So I think as we collaborate together as a community, I think we're going to bring about some really wonderful, like, food propositions that impact people's well-being in more of that positive and nutritive or supportive way. So I'm really excited about that, and having the opportunity, collectively, to work with the stakeholders that are part of this community.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dr. Marotta and Kay, thank you so much for being on the BeFUSED podcast. I greatly appreciate you being here and sharing everything that you have today with regards to Cashmel, as well as the Lifestyle for Life organization that you've built, Kay. And good luck on getting your score from the Healthy Human team. And I look forward to seeing more, and eventually a U.S. label.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to BeFUSED. For complete details about this podcast, including show notes, how to get in touch with the guests, and more episodes, please visit www.projecthealthyhuman.ca. If there's someone you'd like for us to invite to the show as a guest, please let us know by sending a message at the podcast website. Please click subscribe in your favorite podcast app, share and tell a friend about it, and last but not least, rate the podcast. Thank you again.